So just lift your toes and just press them down. I'm going to try and talk less around familiar things. Hands together. Soften the knees and circle the hands up, clasp and reverse. Just go to one side, chin in, come to the centre, and go to the other side, chin in. Come to the centre, just turn slightly, centre and turn. Come to the centre, lower the hands, lift and roll the shoulders and turn the head to the left. Come to the centre and turn the head to the right. Come to the centre and then just lift the feet. Hello Sarah, nice to see you. Lift the heels and then lower the heels and just bend the knees, tummy in. Look at the floor. Come back to standing, release the hands, lift and roll the shoulders and aim the knuckles to the floor. Open the shoulders. Turn to the left. You can bring your hands away from you slightly. Come to the centre and turn to the right. And then come to the centre. Release the hands. Slide the hands down the legs to the shins, half lift. Breathing out, bend in. Breathing in, half lift. Stay here as you breathe out. Breathing in, soften the knees, press the feet down into the ground and roll up vertebra by vertebra to standing. Breathing in, raise the hands, join the thumbs, and just very gently sway from side to side. And then lower the hands. Lift and roll the shoulders. And we're going to come to the top of the mat for salute to the sun. The downward dog, you may or may not want to try. I'm going to do it slightly differently. Hands together at the heart centre, soften the knees, hands up, palms together, come through the centre, bend the knees, and then hands onto the shins, half lift. Breathe out, bend in. Breathe in, half lift again. And this time as you breathe out, soften the knees and hands to either side of the legs, stepping back with the right foot. Keep the right leg high, tummy in, lengthen the back, and perhaps lengthen the back of the neck. Lower the right knee to the ground and slide the left foot back. Dipping the back, look up. And rounding it back, chin to chest. Dipping the back, looking up. And rounding the back, chin to chest. And then dipping the back, look up. And as you round back, chin to chest, you can either come into a form of puppy pose or child's pose. So that would be bottom up or just child's pose. But if you want a strengthening aspect of the pose, we're going to come into downward dog. So soften the knees, come up. Then take your feet wide to the edge of the mat. Turn the toes in, heels out. And just feel the base of the back opening. It's a subtly different downward dog. Bend both knees and then just straighten them. So you can still walk the dog by bending one knee and then bending the other knee. It's easier to lift up, bringing your tummy slightly into your lower abdomen towards the back, and then breathing out, lower both knees back down to the ground. And we join Sue in Either child's pose, knees apart, stretching out the lower back, or puppy pose, elbows on the ground, back bottom lifts to the air, or stretching the hands out. Just come to a comfortable position, taking it in and an out breath. And then coming back onto all fours, and just sliding the right hand, palm up, behind the left hand, and coming to just resting on the right side of the head and the right side of the shoulder. Press the left hand down and take an in and an out breath. So it's working definitely on the shoulder, on the side of the head, stretching out. You can stay here. If you particularly want to go further, slide your left leg back, tucking the left toes under. It's quite nice as a variation. And then lower the left knee to the ground. Slide the right hand out underneath. Come back to all fours and just sway the bottom from side to side. And then take the left hand, palm up, and slide the left hand behind or the right, coming onto the left shoulder, pressing down with the right hand. If you want to take this further, slide your right leg back, tucking the right toes under. And then very gently lower your right knee, slide your left hand out, and come back to all fours. Just sway your hips from side to side. And as you sway your hips to the left, look over your right shoulder, come to the center, and then sway to the right with your hips and look over your left shoulder. And then move your hands to the left, step your right foot up, and kneel up, opening your palms and looking upwards. Breathing in, raising your hands, hold your thumbs, and just slightly sway from side to side with your hands. And then breathing out, lower your hands to either side of your right foot. Tuck your left toes under. Lift your left knee and step your left foot to your right foot. Hands onto the shins, half lift. Breathing out, bend in. Breathing in, half lift. And stay here as you breathe out. Soften the knees, press the feet down and roll up vertebra by vertebra to standing. Breathing in, raise the hands. And then just circle the wrists down. Lift and roll the shoulders. Clasp the hands behind you, aim the knuckles to the floor, open the shoulders. And then separate the hands. Slide the fingers down the backs of the legs, softening the knees. And then bring the hands to the shins, just coming to the front. Breathing in, half lift. Breathing out, softening the knees, softening in. Breathing in, half lift. And breathing out, softening the knees. And just place the hands to either side of your feet. Slide your left foot back. You can either bring your left knee to the ground, or if you want an added strengthener, slide the right leg back and for a nanosecond come into plank. Then bring both knees to the ground. And then just bring your bottom high into puppy pose. Your elbows can be slightly bent, resting on your elbows. If you want your elbows off the ground, that's a greater stretch. And just gently, subtly move your hips from side to side. And then slide totally onto your tummy, your hands out in front of you. And gently wobble your bottom from side to side. Then tuck your right toes underneath. Extend your right heel back away from you, which will mean lifting your entire right leg off the ground, and lower the right leg. Let the right heel flop out to the side and gently wobble. Tuck the left toes underneath, lift the entire left leg and extend the left heel back away from you. It opens you out at the front of the hips, and then lower the left leg, relax the left heel and gently wobble. Widen the knees, bend at the knees so that the soles of the feet come to the ceiling, and just very gently sway the knees, the legs from side to side. And at this point you might want to slide your hands back towards you, maybe cross them and just have your head resting down on the tops of the arms as you sway from side to side. And with your legs up, just extend the heels and point the toes a couple of times. And then circle the ankles in one direction. And then circle the ankles in the opposite direction. Lower the legs back down to the ground. Bring the knees slightly closer together. Slide your hands back to the chest level and elbows are in. Press the hands down, elbows come in, and come back to kneeling. And then come to all fours. Make any adjustments you need to. So you can dip your back, looking up and rounding your back. Chin comes to chest, and do that a couple of times, or you can join me to come into downward dog again, tucking the toes, raising the bottom high. You can widen your feet towards the edge of the mat once more. Heels out, toes come in to open the lower back. And then walk the dog by bending one knee and the other as an option. Tummy naturally comes in. And then lower the knees once more to the ground. Hands go to the right as left foot comes up. If you feel that your balance is going to go, you can tuck your right toes under for greater balance. So lift up, open the, my balance is gone, open the hands, looking forwards or up, raising the arms upwards, just slightly sway from side to side. Tummy in as you lead with the chest coming over towards the left knee, and then hands drop, head drops down to the ground. Tucking the right toes under if they're not already tucked. Lift the right knee and step the right foot to the left foot and bring your hands to the shins, half lift. Keep breathing. Breathing out, soften in. Breathing in, half lift. Stay here as you breathe out. Soften your knees and just hold your elbows. You can use your softened knees to support your body on your thighs. And just open and stretch out at the lower back level. And then just release your hands. And use your hands if you need to come up to standing. Vertebra by vertebra. Lift and roll your shoulders, and then breathing in, raise your hands. Join the thumbs and just very gently sway from side to side. And then circle the wrists down. And then open the fingers and just curl in. And open the fingers and just curl in. And open the fingers and just curl in. Stand with your feet hip width apart. And just to activate the abdominal energy, feel that you can alter your feet if you want to, if it's too wide or not quite right. And just hula hoop in one direction. Swirling the lower abdominal energy. And then hula hoop in the opposite direction. And then come to standing and lift and roll the shoulders, turn the head to the left, come to the centre and turn the head to the right. Come to the centre. Release the hands, and before we come to the ground, I was saying, Sarah, that I've been doing some training with a very interesting guy I've trained with before, and looks at the energy, they call them bandhas, but the energy gates or thresholds in the body, which often are left uncovered, and they're very subtle. But anyway, if we come to standing, lifting the feet, the toes, and reconnecting the toes down can go some way to correcting your posture. Feel that you're pushing the earth away from you. Lifting the knees and releasing them activates the abdominal area. Hands either on the waist or just pressing into the side sets your stance and encourages you to lift upwards. Lift and roll the shoulders and feel that there's a thread going through the centre of the body, almost lifting you up like a puppet would do. The weight is heavy on the feet. Just turn the head subtly to one side and subtly through the centre to the other side and come back to the centre. So this is Tadasana, the hands are just relaxed by the side. And this should feel that you're in perfect balance. You're not slumping forward, your vertebrae are stacked one above the other, and your weight is being stacked properly. But of course, we don't stay like this. Step with your feet hip width apart and come to both knees swaying from side to side. And just freeing off the energy. And then just very gently come to slowing down. Come to standstill, hands together, and we're going to come down to the mat, lying on our backs. And this might sound very peculiar, but as we lie on our back, we're going to start with a very familiar movement. By toes up to the ceiling and toes away a couple of times. And then circle the ankles in one direction. And circle the ankles in the opposite direction. And then just relax. So this is the peculiar bit. Just doing nothing at all, but just open your mouth. And opening the mouth is the palate connects to the abdominal pelvic area, and this is freeing off the, is it the meninges again? It's meninges. Meninges. You'll know what that is, Sarah. And it also frees the mandible area, which can carry a lot of tension. So apparently it's a really excellent thing to do. And it's also brilliant for anyone who's had a lot of dental work. And you hold it for about 10 to 15 seconds, which we must have done. And then just gently close your mouth, and then open your mouth again, and just move your your bottom jaw slightly from side to side. Not something we do very often. And then just release and relax. Bend your feet so that your feet are hip width apart. And take your hands and place the thumb of your your heel of your hand, against the upper thighs, and just subtly push your hands into the tops of your thighs. And you might feel the merest subtle release at the lower back, and then just release. And then do that again. Almost slide the hands, the heel of the hands against the almost upper inner thighs. And just feel that almost subtle, I don't know if you can feel it, kind of that subtle movement at the lower back. And you can play with that with one hand, the heel of the hand, and then the other. And then just release your hands, and palms down, place your hands to the side of your bottom, and just slide your hands so that part of your bottom is just, I don't know if I'm making sense, slide your hands from the top of the bottom down, you'll only get a part of it, just almost smooth your bottom down. You can use your thumbs, or again, you're just almost sliding from the top of the bottom on the outside down. But I quite like the heel of the hand on the thighs. And then the invitation is to have your arms open in cactus arms, which I don't like. I find that very strong. So you can just have your hands on your waist, or if you prefer your hands up behind your head, then use that as well. And it's a pelvic tilt, but this time, as you breathe in, imagine breathing in to the base of your tailbone. And as you breathe out, you're flattening your back to the ground as if you're going to lift your perineum. And imagine almost like a needle pulling a piece of thread, and it's just that thread has just been very subtly pulled all the way up inside, up towards the diaphragm and the heart. So you're slowing it down, breathing in. Your tailbone really kind of connects to the ground. There's a big arch in your back. And you're feeling your breathing into the base of the tailbone. And then as you breathe out, your tummy naturally comes to the floor, and feel that your perineum is almost someone's pulling a thread subtly upwards inside. Just a couple more in your own breath pattern. So it's activating the pelvic gateway. A lot of energy. This connects all this area to, between the diaphragm and the pelvis to organs like the liver, kidneys, and all kinds of organs. So it's just subtly freeing them off. And then next time, just start to bring your head into the movement. So breathing, I've got to do it. You're lifting your chin up to the ceiling as you breathe in, and your tailbone goes to the floor. And then as you breathe out, flattening your back, and imagining that thread going up, your chin goes to your chest. Don't over try, it's a very subtle movement. And just release. And then this time, still with your legs bent, hold your head clasp your hands under your head, your elbows open. And this time, gently, still a pelvic tilt, flattening your back to the ground as you subtly lift up, your elbows come together. And then just relaxing as you breathe in. The tailbone still goes to the ground, and you open your elbows, your chin might go up slightly. And breathing out, flattening the back to the ground. Imagine still that you're pulling up that thread inside you, your elbows come together. And then reversing, the breath comes in right the way down to the tailbone. It's subtle, there's no trying too hard. It's a subtle essence, almost like picking up a thread, not yanking it. And then just make release and relax for a moment. Your hands are still under your head. So this time, I've got to think about this, breathing out, flatten the back, subtly lift your elbows as you did before and come over to the right. Your knees might drop subtly to the left. If your knees don't drop, don't worry. And then just relax back down again. Elbows open. You can take a recovery breath. And then breathing out, flattening your back, lifting your elbows. They come together and go over to the left of your elbows, and your knees subtly might go towards the right. If your knees don't go to the right, don't worry about it. And just release back down again. Take a recovery breath as you do that once more to each side. Lifting up, going over to the left. Your knees might or might not go to the other side. And back down. And then when you finish, just totally relax. Slide the hands out from under the head and just release and relax in Shavasana for a moment. And they ask you to consider just anything that you might or might not feel. So this next exercise can be done in a variety of ways, and it's, if I've got this right, it connects to the psoas, the inner psoas, the iliopsoas. Feet comfortably apart. Slide your left heel away from you, and then slide it back. And subtly slide your right heel away from you. Toes up to the ceiling, and then slide it back. So this next time, breathing in, raise the left arm and slide the left heel and the left arm away from you, and then breathing out, just relax and release back down again. And then as you breathe in, extend and slide the right heel away from you and raise the right arm. And then breathing out, lower. Bring your feet together and subtly bend your knees, press the heels into the ground so that you'll feel a stretch in your tummy, and then release your legs back down to the ground and relax. And do that again. Subtly bend your knees, your feet are more together, press your heels into the ground, your back will lift off the ground slightly, and you'll feel a stretch, and then again, just release your legs back down to the ground, but this time, tense your knees and see if you can feel anything around the perineal area, and then just totally relax. And then one last time, subtly bend both knees, press the heels into the ground, feel the stretch, and then just release everything back down to the ground, and tense the knees, feel the connection at the perineal level, and then just release and relax. And then breathing in, raise both elbows and clasp somewhere either the elbows or along the forearms above you. The backs of the hands rest on the ground. And then keeping the legs where they are, just subtly move the torso and the arms. You can shuffle along the ground to the left. So you're stretching out the right side. And to increase that stretch, as you breathe in, extend the right heel away from you, extend the right elbow, and then just release and relax. And once more, extend the right heel, right elbow, you'll feel the stretch. And then just release. So elongating and sideways elongating like this, just come back to the centre, activates the inner gateways and the pathways, and we're focusing on two very major ones at the base of the perineum and then just the next one up. And it's where energy can stagnate quite easily. And then just very gently, subtly move the torso over to the right side. And when you're over, extend your left heel and extend your left elbow just to stretch out the left side and then release. And when you next breathe in, extend the left heel and the left elbow over and then just release. And then just relax as you bring your body back to centre. Breathing out, lower the hands. Bend one foot and bend the other foot. And then hug the knees into the chest. We're back on quite familiar territory as we just gently rock from side to side. For a variety of reasons, age, gravity, things that happen to us, the inner balance of our energy through our organs gets very subtly disturbed, and it just closes down both our vitality, but also what he was saying was where weight can gather around the abdominal torso middle area. This goes quite a long way to beginning to activate the energy flow through to just, where it takes years to get like that, it will take a long time to unravel, but it just begins to activate that unraveling process and rocking from side to side. And then just supporting the knees underneath to place the feet down to the ground, palms down or on the abdomen, and just come to a familiar rocking the knees from side to side. You can have your feet to hip width apart. And then, I don't know if you've got a tie or a belt, Sarah, you don't have to have it, but again, freeing off pelvic energy is quite helpful. So we did this the other day. You can either have your right leg extended along the ground, which we did in training. You can also have the option to bend your right leg if you want a softer option. And put the belt around your sole of your left foot. And raise your left foot up to the ceiling, extend the heel. And then just open the leg to the left. If your leg doesn't go right down, you can use your elbow to rest on the floor to open the leg out to the left. At any point you might decide to straighten out your right leg. You don't have to hold it up here. If this is where your leg goes, then you can just then relax the leg back down to the earth so you're not having to hold. So it's opening out the hip energy. So the yogic wisdom, which I'm not doing at the moment, would say to me not to lift the right bottom off the floor, but that's quite hard. So just, it suits me to have my leg up, my elbow on the floor, and probably bend my right leg. My right hand can go on the mat or on my right hip bone. So it's just an opening to the left with the left leg. You are activating here the, Sue will know this on the reflexology, they call it Hasta Bandha. Hasta is your foot. So it's opening the energy at the base of the foot, which is like reflexology. Just opening up a little bit. And then just very, very gently bring the leg back to the centre. Hug the left knee into the chest. And just circle the left knee a couple of times while you're holding it with your left hand or both hands in one direction. And then circle it a couple of times in the other direction. And then just place the left foot back down on the ground. And you can have the left knee bent or sliding out along the ground as you bring the strap to the base of your right foot, and we do the same on the right side. If you've got a wall there, it's quite nice sometimes just to let your foot rest against the wall. Otherwise, bend the elbow, just rest it on the ground, but just come to being comfortable. Feel the inner thighs stretching out. And as the first time, I'm not going to keep here for too long, but then just very gently bring the right leg back and hug the right knee into the chest. So there are different ways of doing this. Your knees are bent and hands on the abdomen, breathing in through the nose. As you breathe out through the nose or the mouth, imagine that needle just gently pulling up from the perineum on the out-breath. And at the end of the out-breath, as the needle is just pulling the energy up, just pulse and so tense and let go of the perineum area a couple of times. So on the holding of the out-breath, just a couple of times, just tense, let go, tense, let go, tense, let go, and then just release. So that begins to activate the peristalsis movement. Breathing out, imagine that subtle energy pull up. And then at the end of the out-breath, just tense, let go, tense, let go, tense, let go, and then just release. And then one third time, breathing out. At the end of the exhalation, just tense, let go, tense, let go, tense, let go, and release. Just breathing in and breathing out. So then, whether you bind your legs or whether you just have a strap around them, have your strap around both legs now. And both at the soles of the feet. You can have your feet wide if you want to, and both legs up. I'm holding my band, or you can hold, you can bind make a loop with the strap, you can just have your both hands, I've got my strap peculiar, but just relax, holding the strap, perhaps on both, and just your feet up. So feet up like this, or feet up the wall, is very releasing for the L5-S1, so the lower lumbar area onto the sacrum. But we've not done this before quite like this, and you're just finding your way. So I just wanted to do a couple of breaths like this, just to introduce that release at the lower energy of L4, L5, S1. Legs up the wall is also very good, with the legs wide as well. You're widening the legs, you're widening and giving space to the lower back area. But as I said, we've not done this with the belt, so that might be just finding your level. And then just very gently release, soften, and hug the knees into the chest once more, rocking from side to side. And to come back to very familiar territory, supporting the right leg, place the right foot on the floor, hug the left knee into the chest, still holding it, let it release to arm's length, and just do a couple of those to your own breath pattern, freeing off that energy. then just release the left leg to the floor. And come to the right side, hugging the right knee into the chest. Holding it to arm's length, letting it go away, and then just a few times in your own time on the right side. Although you can't separate out the energy bands, they're all interconnected, so we've also worked on the diaphragm by lengthening the body. Then hug both knees into the chest. You can have your knees apart, both knees away, just a couple of times. Your breath pattern. And then just very gently place the feet on the floor. Place your hands on your abdomen and just take a couple of breaths, breathing in through the nose, breathing out through the mouth. And then release and let that go. Hug the knees into the chest. And we're going to come up to sitting, but I just wanted to show you another particular for the diaphragm as we come up to sitting. I haven't got the equipment, but you can have a passive, almost slight elongation. I just wanted to kind of show you. You can almost rest in legs like this, or rest like legs out like that. You can just see there's a natural stretch. You can have all kinds of support, just relaxing and resting like that, because that stretches the diaphragm. And if we have various things happen to us, various operations, various stresses and strains, there's a very subtle realignment of the organs. And so then things can get stuck, and particularly with scar tissue. And this passive way of just elongating this slightly higher area is, again, very helpful. I just wanted to show you that. I mean, again, you can use any kind of support you want to. But you can see that there's just that subtle curve, that subtle elongation to come out. I'm just going to put my hands down, elbows, to come up, but then come to a seated position first to finish off. And just bring the hands to the heart, breathing in, opening, breathing out, chin to chest. As a meditation, breathing in, open the hands, breathing out, chin to chest. Again, breathing in, opening, breathing out, chin to chest. Just subtly come subtly forward, lead with the chest, bring the hands slightly forward. You'll feel this in the outer hips. Just come in to release the chin to the chest, connecting to the back of the head, back of the neck is long. And then just very gently walk back up again. Bring the hands to the heart, and just remember, have a thought for the day for you or for someone close to you, and mentally think that a couple of times. And then letting those thoughts go, chin to chest, for a very lovely day ahead. Thank you for joining me. I will read the cards. I also realised